Welcome back. Thousands of mid-career employees have used their top-up SkillsFuture credits to pursue training in areas like information and communication technologies. SkillsFuture Singapore says take-up of its Level Up program was healthy in its first year. Still, analysts say employers need to encourage more mid-career workers to upskill and stay relevant. Nasyrah Rohim with more.
This father of two was a private hire driver for 5 years, but he wanted a better life for his family. Vinod Nandakumaran was determined to pursue a new career in business analytics, but juggling family, work and a part-time degree wasn't easy.
It took about 4 years. It's definitely challenging because I work from 8:30 to 5:30. After that, I have to take my dinner and then I have to head off to class from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m.
More than 36,000 mid-career individuals like Mr. Kumaran, aged 40 years and above, have used their 4,000 Singapore dollars SkillsFuture credit top-up to pursue training. Some observers say those worried about their jobs being replaced by AI are the biggest group most keen to reskill.
For folks who are doing very first line of review type of work where things can be done at a much faster rate with AI inputs, these are the folks where they feel that their skill sets might be obsolete in the next 2 to 3 years.
They add that firms need to encourage more employees to take up part-time courses to level up. This could be done by offering more flexible work arrangements or more leave days to help employees attend classes.
The approach that they take in terms of upgrading individuals could be a combination of being trained and developed within the company environment, but also leveraging programs that are there, particularly in the SkillsFuture environment, to see if the individual can then commit to further study or development of skills.
With technological advancements like AI changing the way we work, is getting more urgent to keep mid-career Singaporeans up to date and competitive with key skills. That's why starting next year, they can get a sum of $300 monthly for part-time courses. These courses will be held after working hours and the sum will be used to defray any learning expenses. There will also be more courses provided by both industry and private providers.
In the Workers' Party's response to the Prime Minister's National Day rally speech, it calls on the government to engage widely and consider all solutions, saying that Singapore should leave no stone unturned amid the global economic uncertainty. Now, touching on forward-looking policies announced in the speech, the party says present concerns should also be tackled, and they include rising rental costs, which it says can be addressed by expanding JTC's industrial space and by continuing to offer lower rent options to smaller companies. Separately, it also agreed with job matching support that will be offered at the town level. On tech disruption, the WP says the education system and economy's needs must be aligned. It also suggests having more allied educators so that students can develop essential soft skills. Those whose jobs are being disrupted by technology should have social safety nets, such as redundancy insurance and retrenchment benefits. And on the traineeship program for younger graduates and mid-career workers, the WP says safeguards should be in place so that they are not taken as cheaper labour. Trainees should also have clear performance metrics and basic workplace protections. Now, for more analysis on PM Wong's National Day rally speech, I'm now joined by Associate Professor Terence Ho. He is Deputy Executive Director at the Institute for Adult Learning at the Singapore University of Social Sciences, and he is also Adjunct Associate Professor in Practice at the NUS Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy. Professor Ho, welcome to the program. Thanks so much for being here.
Good evening.
So first of all, what do you make of PM Wong's priorities in this year's rally speech? Do you see it lacking major announcements?
I think while some may have expected more new policy announcements, I think clearly the focus was on setting out the government's vision and overall approach for the road ahead. I think that was the sort of major intent. And in particular, I think two themes came out quite strongly. The first is that Singapore must remain exceptional, and encouraging Singaporeans to continue to push boundaries, pursue their dreams. and also with the confidence that Singapore's best years are ahead of us. And the other major theme I think that came out was the need for Singaporeans to be one united people, having each other's backs, looking out for one another. And I think these two themes were fleshed out particularly well in his closing remarks, where he talked about, side by side as one exceptional and united Singapore. So I think that was the main focus. And in addition, addressing some of the concerns, particularly relating to the economy, and certain concerns that were and issues affecting young Singaporeans and older Singaporeans as well. So I think that was the main focus for this year's NDR.
As part of the government's visions, I think AI disruption and jobs, that remains a top priority, with the solution being a revival of the job traineeship from the COVID era. How does this resonate with younger Singaporeans who have rather seen this playbook before?
So I think the traineeships could be viewed as a sort of practical approach, given that it brings together host organizations as well as workers so they can have a sense of a good job fit. I think for the potential employers, government support will help to lower the risk for them. And for workers, they would be helped, particularly younger workers with less work experience. It will give them a foothold in the job market. And furthermore, it's a tried and tested approach, having been employed in the COVID-19 period.
How will this resonate with mid-career workers, though? Do you think it's enough to reassure them at a time when geopolitical uncertainty and costs of living are rising?
So I think the traineeships could also benefit the mid-career workers, but they are not the only measure that the government is taking to give Singaporeans access to good job opportunities. So there's also the new initiative of the job matching, led by the CDCs. There's job redesign, as well as support for reskilling under the SkillsFuture Level Up program. I think for the job redesign, PM provided a concrete example of the PSA crane operators that are now retrained to remotely supervise cranes and vehicles. But I think overall, the main assurance that workers would have from this rally is PM's pronouncement that jobs remains the top priority. In other words, all the talk about innovation and technology is not merely for profits in the bottom line, but to ensure that Singaporeans will have access to good job opportunities.
A lot of focus on the localized policy making, as you said, with the age-well neighborhoods and the CDC job matching, as you mentioned, and also developments in the northern area of Singapore. What sort of implications will this have on the way we reshape policy design and on economic and social inclusion moving forward?
So I think there's a complementary role for the sort of national level initiatives as well as more localized initiatives. So in terms of job matching, of course, we already have career centers that are run by Workforce Singapore and NTUC's Employment and Employability Institute. And I think these broader, maybe national or regional level initiatives can be complemented quite well by the CDC-led job matching initiative, as this could leverage the local networks that the CDC have in terms of their links with heartland businesses and merchants and so on. As for the northern regions, I think that buttresses the theme of inclusivity, the idea that every region in Singapore will be developed into livable, endearing neighborhoods with distinctive characteristics.
PM also spoke about social challenges such as vaping, right, and protecting the youth and over-reliance on AI. What does this tell us about PM Wong and his administration's priorities and focus on this particular group of people?
I think they're trying to find a good balance. I mean, to not overreact to some of the dangers, but pointing out there are very significant concerns, particularly around vaping. And so his message is really underscoring this risk and the idea that decisive steps have to be taken to rein in these risks.
He ended the speech by speaking about this we first society. Can we read this as a recalibration of the Forward Singapore narrative?
So I think PM has previously mentioned or exhorted Singaporeans to have each other's back. And if you recall the Forward Singapore report, there was a chapter that was devoted to Singaporeans doing our part as one united people. So I think this we first phrase is a catchy restatement, if you like, of what is already a theme of solidarity, of Singaporeans looking out for one another.
All right, Professor Ho, thank you so much for unpacking the rally speech today, and thanks for coming in. That was Associate Professor Terence Ho from the Institute for Adult Learning and NUS Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy.